Hello. Who is here? Hi, Carolyn. Good morning, Lynn. Good morning. Yoga buddies. How is everyone? All right. So, ready to strengthen your bones? All right. What's anybody want to share anything, ask anything before we begin today? Hi, Sharon. How are you? I love that little cat in the box. Isn't it funny how cats always find boxes or little places to be? It's really interesting. They do. They like that safety of being in a box. All right. Oh, good. I love that. I love that you like the challenge. I think I might even actually do that today. Have us do a challenge today and see what that's like. So that's what I was thinking. Yeah, it's great, right? I mean, last night I came home, it was 8:45, and I said to myself, wow, I haven't even posted today. And I've been posting every single day for 12 days so far. And so I said, wow, so there I get my phone out. I'm in my kitchen. I put my phone up so I could see it, and I did my balance challenge. And I thought to myself, I would not normally do that. And there was 1 minute, 3 seconds that my right foot or my left foot, left side body practice balance. And then on my right foot, it was 50 whatever, because I usually challenge my right side more. And I thought that's like almost 2 minutes of strength and joint coordination and balance and all the aspects that happen in balance like that. Because I looked up and then I start to close one eye and the other. So all the three systems of my balance, my vestibular, visual, and proprioception were all being challenged. And I thought if I weren't doing this challenge, I would not have done that. So the opportunity of being in a challenge and, for me, feeling compelled to post daily made me do it. And I thought, this is valuable. And so I don't know for the rest of you, if you're not in my challenge, on my website, debbierobinson.com homepage, you can join debbierobinson.com. Do the www. Let me get my glasses on to make sure it's correct. Yeah, go on there. Yeah, Susan, healing that broken foot. I mean, it's crazy because there's so many intricacies of us doing a balance challenge, standing on one foot, all that receptivity on the foot pad, the muscles, the communication of the nerves all the way up to the brain, through the ankle joint, through the knee joint, through the hip joint, up into the pelvis to the spine, like all of that communication. And we know with neuroplasticity that when we do repetitive movements, when we fortify pathways in our brain, so we can improve our balance. We can improve so many aspects. So if you join a challenge, a 30-day challenge, then you're actually showing up every day for yourself. And so if you're not in that challenge, join in the month of October, join for 30 days. It's your self challenge. I do post, we're in there, we're interactive on Facebook for now for this month, but we'll see what happens in the future. So next month is strength challenge, and that'll be another challenge to do. And so really, really great to do all that. All right, so I'm going to go back here and speak to that a little bit more, but really amazing, yeah. All right, so I will tell you that the more and more I write and put together programs and do all the things I'm doing in my life for bone health, the more involved I get, the more I study, the more I look up and research whatever it is I have to write. It's amazing. The more I study, the more I learn, the more I write, the more I share, the more I believe that yoga is the answer for healthy aging, for healthy bones. So many facets of this practice. It's a mind-body practice. This is not just working out. This is working in. This is connection of mind and body. And when you're going to start pulling on your bones and pushing on your bones the way we need to create stimulation for bone growth, for muscle growth. That's a pretty strong force we need to apply. And so you need to be very in tune with what you're doing, because you could hurt yourself or you could heal yourself. And the more connected you are to this moment, to your body, to what's happening right now, then you can actually bring in the appropriate forces to get stronger. And that could be that you're nursing an injury, you're coming from a broken foot, from a hip issue, from low back issues, whatever it is. When you're in tune with your body, when you tap into interoception and inner body awareness, when you let your mind go to wherever it is that you need to heal or to strengthen, then you actually bring your mind and body together. You stay effective, and you could do the maximum stretching and strengthening and whatever it is that you need in that moment. I think there's nothing like this practice for keeping ourselves healthy and happy as we age. And for osteoporosis, for bone health, I think there's nothing like this practice of yoga. For the mental aspect, for the physical aspect, and that has an effect on the biochemistry. All the areas that contribute to bone loss: physical, mental, and biochemical. And this practice does all of that. So we'll begin this practice where we come onto the ground, where we connect our mind and our body, where we drop into the present moment. We'll practice breath work using maybe some different aspects to keep your mind busy, so that you start off the practice very connected, very in tune. And from there, we start to pull and push on our bones, stretch our tissues, move our joints, move our body, and create that fluidity, that flexibility, that strength, the balance, and all the aspects that are important for healthy aging and for healthy bones. And that is my goal, is to be the healthiest version of myself as I age, so I could still live this life to the fullest, because at one point in my life I couldn't. And I know what it's like when you can't, and I'm not going to go back there, and I don't want you to, and I want to share with you how to prevent that from happening. For today's practice, get your props that will need a block, a strap. You'll use a chair later on, maybe a wall, the back of the sofa or something. Yoga can be practiced anywhere and everywhere, and it should be. So don't let if you don't have anything, don't let that be a barrier. Having a blanket is one of the best props, the easiest props. It's accessible to most of us. And you can even have a couple of those, because they could actually act as multiple. They could come in handy for multiple reasons. So let's begin today's practice. I'm going to do a pretty strong opener for myself, a chest opener, because I really want to stretch my chest and my shoulders. And for my body, that's okay. I am going to use the block behind my heart so that it's on my shoulder blades, and I can get a nice deep stretch here. I'm going to use the blanket folded for my head, so my head can be supported with this. So my position will be like that. If you have a shoulder issue or you want to do something a little more gentle, leave the blanket on the floor and try to go to the lowest fold possible, or maybe even no blanket, and see if you can allow gravity to help to gently open if you need more of a gentle opener. Starting with this chest opener, it's going to keep you very connected in this present moment, especially if you're doing the more strong movement. And then this kind of sets us up posturally in alignment in the spine to be safe throughout the practice today. So have whatever it is you're going to have behind you there. And then when you come down, making sure you don't close off the front of your spine. So come down and then opening up the front of your spine to bring yourself safely. So that block is right behind the rib cage. That's where you want your block to be, behind the rib cage. I'm going to slide my shoulder blades close together so that it's actually my shoulder blades that are resting on the block. And then from here, bringing the blanket behind for support into whatever level you need. Each person is different. It's a really good idea to start with bent knees so that you let the low back relax and you don't bring the tension of this down to the low back. You let it be where we want it to be, which is in the upper chest and the shoulders. So come into whatever stretch is appropriate for your body. Find it. Close your eyes to find it. You can push your feet into the floor, lift your pelvis up, and correct the low back or protect the low back by coming into a posterior pelvic tilt, pushing the top edge of your pelvis towards the floor, low back towards the floor, and then placing your pelvis down on the ground. Everything slowly with awareness, closing your eyes, you could go inside to feel and to notice. Close your eyes, take a couple of breaths here to allow your body to settle. Keep taking breaths, keep your awareness into your body. Noticing what you notice, pay attention. See if you can move into a position where you get a little deeper stretch. See how that feels. Let's bring the mind to counting, focusing your breath. Now that you're in this position, feeling safe in there. If you want to go a little deeper, if that's available to you, maybe straighten your legs if that's possible, lowering the blanket behind your head if that's possible, or whatever it is you have. It's important to let your body feel safe in whatever it's doing. So going in slowly to keep yourself safe. Wherever you are, feeling a stretch somewhere in the front of your body, stretching the front of the spine, stretching the shoulders, stretching the chest, taking sitting and forward movement out of your body, the opposite of the way we usually live. And then let's bring a breath of peace, Sukha Pranayama, equal counting. Going to use the number 6 because this is actually the sinus rhythm of the heart. So calibrating your cardiovascular system to your respiratory system, which will calibrate to the nervous system, and that will then pass on to the digestive system and all the other systems, getting you into this harmonized place. It's called Sukha Pranayama in Sanskrit, also known as breath of peace. Exhale. Let's begin. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue on your own. Count. Keep your mind busy with counting. Equal inhale, equal exhale. Choose whatever number is appropriate for you.
Give your body and mind the gift of staying right here, right now. Finishing with this breath, and then take a couple more breaths. Stay connected to counting, stay connected to your breath. Let your breath go after this last breath. Give your breath back to your body. Notice your body breathing itself. If you're able to move into a fully stretched position with your legs straight off your body and your arms straight overhead, do that, noticing where you feel the stretch. Notice if you feel that in the front of the body. Breathe down to your belly. And then flex your wrist, flex your feet, reaching through the heel of the hand and the heel of the feet, stretching as much as you can. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself into a position where you're on the side. So take your time to get there, rolling off your prop, coming all the way to the side. Stay here, close your eyes, let your body relax. Then take your hand on the ground. Using your elbow in your hand, bring your top leg up, draw your knee in, take an inhale. As you exhale, kick your leg away, push away with your hand and your arm, and bring yourself up. So one of the things that's been mentioned to me lately is wanting short practices to do throughout the day. So today's class, I would like to do postures in sets of 3 and do them where we're close together so they flow into each other. And then these are things that I'm actually going to share. I'm going to share this with you and create a class out of this as well, so that it will be available beyond just today. My goal is for you to take care of you, for me to be your guide, to help you, to show you, to guide you, but also to give you the tools for you to be able to take care of yourself for the rest of your life. And these short power moves are a great way to do that. So make sure that you have the props that you'll need. You're going to need a blanket, a strap, and a block. And then later on, a chair and or a wall for the standing practice. I like to begin on the ground because I want to lubricate the body to make it safe, to get the fluids to flow, to stretch the tissues, because studies are showing that when we stretch our body, we actually lubricate our body. And part of aging is dehydration. We lose that fluidity in our body. So let's stretch our bodies, get everything warmed up, prime the pumps, so to speak. so that when you do go in there and you demand more from your joints, your muscles, and your bones, you make sure that you stay safe when you're doing that. Coming down onto the ground, always doing that safely, coming onto your side, bringing yourself down onto the ground. And come all the way down onto the ground, coming into a fully stretched body position if it's available for your body, doing whatever you can in your joints, moving in whatever way is safe. And then bring yourself so that your knees are, bring yourself into a position so that your knees are bent, and bring your feet as wide as your mat. If you can bring your arms out to the side and come into what's called a scarecrow position, bringing your arms out to the side in the scarecrow or some variation. Legs are as wide as your mat. Let's start to move them side to side. Keep the feet on the floor. Don't let the soles rock off, and rock back and forth from one side of your tushy to the other, starting to feel the waist stretch. This is important because this protects the low back, and it's also what allows us to do the safe back bending that we do a lot in the practice of yoga for osteoporosis. So very safely warming the body up so that we could do these movements in our body that are important for our bone health. Starting to go a little bigger now, the soles of the feet come off. Now your tushy may roll off a little bit, and that's going to put some pressure in the low back. So I'd like you to close your eyes, go into the lower back when you do this. Make sure what you're doing is appropriate. Try to keep the tension and the stretching in either the front of the hip joint or the sides, not in the low back. You could push your belly button towards your spine if you're feeling anything in your low back, so that you're more in a posterior or a neutral pelvis, and you keep your low back safe when you do this rotation. And then bring yourself back to center. Take your feet wide off your mat. It is rotation that causes a lot of injury in people's bodies. So learning how to safely rotate and understanding what that means. You have your rib cage and you have your pelvis. When your pelvis is tilted to the side and your rib cage is straight up, that force is going to go at the low back. And that's where a lot of issues and injuries come. Now, we could do safe twisting to strengthen the core and stretch the muscles of the low back, of the hips, and the muscles are involved in that. And that's what we want to do, because we use that part of our body a lot in yoga for osteoporosis to create stimulation in the hips, in the lumbar spine, and in the pelvic area. This is a very important area for us to keep strong and mobile as we age and for our bone health. So the feet are as wide as the mat, maybe even off the mat. Hold on to your core, so contract your core, protect yourself here, and then slowly start to let your knees go to the side. This is not about getting to the floor. This is about being far away, letting your legs be far away from your body and moving to the side. Far away and moving to the side. Make it be more about that than trying to get your legs to the floor. Often I watch people do this and they're trying to go like this and thinking they have to get to the floor, so the back is popping off the floor and you're in your lower spine. This is not about getting to the floor. This is about the journey and not the destination. You want to move internally and externally in the hip joint and stretch all the muscles that are involved in that action and lubricate that joint as you move your body, creating the synovial fluids to secrete and the hydration in the tissues. Close your eyes. The knee that comes inward, try to get that knee to go as close to the ground as possible. That'll stretch that hip. Let it be more about that. Let your heart press up towards the sky. Try to keep the rib cage quiet and don't let the rib cage move too much. Let the pelvis rock and roll side to side. The next time you come to the right, stay there. Take your left hand off the floor barely. Reach through the heel of the hand. Push the left knee away from you and stretch your left side. Breathe to your left side. Head is to the left, flexing the wrist, reaching through the heel of the hand and through the left knee. Breathe to your left side. One more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. Come to the right. Head goes to the right. Reach your right hand long. Point your right knee away from you. And breathe to your right. You could deeply stretch your inside, stretching your hips, stretching your core by breathing there. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. Take your feet, walk your feet back together. Draw the legs in one at a time, and then rock side to side. Coming into a happy baby to stretch the low back, to stretch the hamstrings, to stretch the glutes. Take your legs really wide. Hold on behind your hamstrings, or if you're flexible enough, take 2 fingers between the big toe and the second toe. Take the thumb onto your big toenail and be in a very wide. This is about being wide. Don't grab your feet if they come together. That's not effective. You want your feet to be wider than your body and your knees to be coming down towards your armpits. So if you need to hold on under here, that is more effective than grabbing on your toes. Grabbing on the toes is for those that have that hip joint flexibility, which not everybody has. Stretching the hamstrings, stretching the adductors, stretching the glutes, pressing the low back into the floor. This is a fantastic way to stretch and prepare your body for movement. And then bring your legs down. Hands on your belly. Let's move into our first 3 postures. These are postures to pull on your pelvic bone, to demand more from the pelvis and create bone building stimulation in the pelvis. Let's draw the left leg in first. Put the strap on the left leg. Hold on to your strap. You want to be very strong, 30 seconds, very, very strong pulling on your pelvis. Wrap your hand around your strap. Pull your leg down. Deeply root that leg into the socket. Right leg straight if that's appropriate for your body. Activate that left leg. Push the left leg away with the muscles and let's enter the posture. Draw the left leg towards the wall behind you. Straight knee, no bend in the left knee. Push the right foot or the right leg into the floor to help intensify the stretch. Push your left buttock into the floor. Push your left leg away and pull your left leg towards the wall behind you. Feel that in your body. Hopefully feel your right where your buttock is. You're pulling on your pelvis with your hamstring. Take one more breath. And then release. Let's switch legs. So bring the right foot up. This is called Supta Pada Gustasana number 1 or supine big toe stretch. Take your hand, wrap your hand around your strap. Pull that right leg down into the socket. Feel that right buttock pressing into the ground. Left leg is straight if it's appropriate for your body. Firm up that right leg. Push the right. Let's enter the posture, pulling the leg towards the wall behind you. Push the leg away with the muscles, pull it back. Opposing forces, very strong forces to create very strong bones. Toes are pointing towards the wall behind you. Push the leg away, pull it towards the wall behind you strongly. Take one more breath. And then release. Bring the strap down. Take your hands onto your belly. Pause. Notice what you notice. Let's move on to big toe pose 2. Supta Pada Gustasana number 2. Draw your knee in. Bring the strap onto your foot. Take your hand down the strap. Wrap your, or take the strap on the left foot and then take the strap in the left hand. Slide the hand closer to the ground. For some of you, if you don't have a lot of flexibility, having a chair to rest your leg on or having a block underneath your leg will be better for you. Take your right leg straight. If that's appropriate for you, keep this left leg really high. And then let's enter the posture. Don't let the left leg move towards the foot part of the mat. If it does, stop there. You only go towards the ground if you can. Don't let your leg be forward. If it's forward, that's not effective. It has to be up high. Left inner thigh far away from
right top thigh. Deep breaths, push into the strap, push your right leg into the ground. Strong pulling on the pelvic bone. Push your right leg into the ground, push into the strap, take one more breath. And then draw that leg back up to center. Let's do the other foot. Bring the right leg into the strap. Take the strap in the right hand. Left leg is straight if that's appropriate for you. Slide your hand down. Press the left leg into the floor. We're going to lengthen into this. Let your leg lengthen out to the side. Keeping that leg high. Right inner thigh as far away from the left as possible. So if you let your leg go down, it'll come closer to that. You want that right leg far away. Push the left leg down into the ground. Stabilize your pelvis. Active, be very active here. You're not coming into the stretch and hanging out. You want to pull on bones to create bone building stimulation. You want to be active. Push your foot into the strap. You're pulling on your pelvic bone. This also helps if you slip, trip, or fall, have more ability for your hip joint to absorb it and to go in more places without fracturing. Fractures happen when your body can't handle that force, and that's what will cause a fracture. So let's create more ability in that hip. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back up to center. Bring your strap onto your belly. Hands around your belly. Let's do one more posture. This is 3 postures, stretching the legs, pulling on the pelvis and creating more range of motion in the hip area so that you're more receptive to a slip, trip, or fall and less likely to fracture. That's what we're going for, fracture prevention and bone strength. Strap is on both feet. Bring your legs into a not bend knee position if you can. And I know that'll be challenging for some of you. So as least amount of bend as possible. And then if you can, put the strap on the feet and then soles of the feet are up towards the sky. Push into the strap with the edges of your pinky toes. And then let's enter, drawing the legs back. Keep the legs straight if you can. Pull down the strap, push away with the legs. Very strong work here. Pulling a lot in your pelvic area. Pushing away, pulling down, pulling back. Lots of force. And pushing out on your pinky toe edges. Take one more breath. And then go ahead and bend your knees. Take the strap off to the side, bring your feet onto the ground. Close your eyes, bring your hands onto your belly. That was 3 postures to pull and push on the hip joint area, the pelvic area. That's going to create bone stimulation and also a lot of ability for your hip to manage things. So you're less likely to injury or to fracture. So those are the 2 aspects of what those leg stretches can do for us. It's also forward folding, which is something we're not supposed to do in our spine. We are supposed to do in our hip. So this also prepares your body to properly forward fold in the hip joint, which is a safe way to fold. Let's move on to our next set of 3 postures, beginning with bridge. You could use props. You could put a strap around your leg if you'd like. You could put a block between your legs, or you could use nothing. You could clasp your hands underneath your body, have your arms like this or straight. It's your bridge, whatever you want to do. The main thing is we are bending our spine, trying to stretch open the front of the vertebra and press the back into itself. The stronger you bend your spine and put forces in the back, the more bone building stimulation you give to your vertebra. So that's an important thing for fracture prevention, since half of the fractures are in the spine. So if you want to use props, go ahead and get them. Take your blanket away from the back of your head. Arrange your body so you slide your shoulder blades towards each other. Arms are bent or straight, whatever you're going to do. Walk your feet closer to your body. Lengthen the back of your neck. Tuck your chin down towards your chest. Exhale. Flatten the low back into the floor. And then squeeze your tushy. Inhale, close your eyes, peel your spine up and away from the floor. Either bending the arms, straighten the arms, or clasping the arms, whatever is your version of bridge. Push your arms into the floor and your feet, very strong. And then draw your knees away from you to try to unbend your hips, lengthening your hip flexors, lengthening the front of your spine. Deep breaths. Push the back of the vertebra into itself. Back bend. Try to stretch the front of your heart. Push the heart up towards the sky. Let the back shoulder blades press to your rib cage to help stretch and bend your upper spine. Close your eyes and be safe. Feel what's appropriate. Your body will be the guide. One more breath. And then slowly coming down one vertebra at a time, bringing the blanket back underneath your head, drawing your knees into your chest, knees into the chest, or come into the happy baby, holding underneath the hamstrings or in between first and second toe. Feel the back on the floor. Check in with yourself. Make sure that the tension you're giving your body is appropriate, especially when you start demanding more. Bring your feet onto the floor, hand on your belly. Let's come all the way onto our belly for locust posture, another back bend, trying to press the back of the spine into itself, doing what's appropriate for you. Take your blanket away, come up into Sphinx so you get yourself nice and long in your torso. Feet are coming straight off of your body. Elbows are underneath your shoulders. And when you come down onto the ground, lengthen your spine. Pull your rib cage away from your pelvis to come down onto the ground. Let your hands come along the body. When you do locust, you could either do hands and legs off the floor, or you could clasp hands and reach hands away. You do what's appropriate for you. Beginning with the forehead on the floor, long back neck. Take an exhale. And then inhale to lift up and away from the ground. Bend your spine as much as you can. Arms are straight, or you clasp your hands. Reaching long with your feet, with your hands, and with your spine. Try to bend the upper spine, pushing the heart forward. Take one more breath. Bring yourself slowly down Take your hands, fold your hands, rest your forehead in the back of the hands. Take your legs wide. And then bend your knees. Wiggle your pelvis back and forth. So don't flop your knees yet. Don't flop your feet. Let your pelvis go side to side here. Forehead is resting. Breathe to your belly. And then let your legs flop side to side. Always closing your eyes and feeling what's appropriate in your body. Be your own yoga therapist, your own physical therapist. And then bring yourself forward. Kick your legs down. Breathe to your belly. That will help to release some low tension or the tension in the low back. Let's come onto the back. Roll back onto your back. Bring your blanket underneath your head. Closing your eyes. Hands on the belly. So we're going to do a twist. This is a core and a trunk support exercise. And in some traditions of yoga, after we do back bends, the twist is the counter pose for a back bend. So getting a block for this, grab your block. The block has 3 levels. It has the long level, it has a short, and it has a medium. These are this rectangle. So you want this middle range to go between your lower legs because this is about hip distance. So it's a nice way to stabilize the pelvis. You could do this even without a block. Take the hands alongside the body. This will help with the work. So this is coming into a hovering position and staying. The more you unbend your knees and the closer to the ground you go hovering, it's more intense. But you want to make sure when you're in that twist and that rotation that you have the trunk support and the strength in your core to support your lumbar spine, or it can hurt your low back. So you want to make sure that you do what's appropriate for you. I like to close my eyes to go inside because my body is my guide, tells me where to go and what is safe. Exhale, and then inhale to enter this posture. Squeezing the block, staying here, hovering. Use your core to protect your lumbar spine as you bring that force into the lumbar spine. Active core, zipper up your midsection. The hand that's on the ground in the direction you're going, let that press into the ground to help support the trunk. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. You could bring your knees into the chest for a break if you need. Hands are alongside your body. Squeeze the block. And then let's enter to the other side. Coming into a hovering position and then activating all the support of the core, zippering up the midsection. Take one more breath. And then bring yourself back to center. Take your block off to the side. Bring yourself back to center. Knees are into chest, side to side. Knees could stay to the chest, or you could come into the happy baby, holding on behind the hamstrings or grabbing the toes. Take one more breath. Come onto the side. Take your hand onto the ground. Push yourself to come up to a seated position.
So those three strung together, bridge, locust, and the twist, supine twist, those are fantastic spinal bone power moves that you could do. And stringing those together, because you're in this position, it makes it pretty easy to do those three together. So let's move on to a little bit more spinal health. Spine is really important. It's where 50% of the fractures are. Posture, poor posture has a lot to do with that. And then moving incorrectly has another aspect of that. So let's have a nice strong back, a nice strong spine so we can protect our spine. Take your blanket, fold your blanket in two, and then bring yourself onto your blanket. Clear your space. So we'll need the block for this because it helps bring the length into the spine. It's important. The important thing about rotation is you're not in flexion. So rotation is safe if you have a little bit of a back bend in the upper spine and you're rotating with length in your spine. Let's take the left leg, bend the left leg. Make sure you're near the front of your blanket and reach down and grab the flesh of the buttocks, move it back so you have a nice access to your pelvis. Hold on to your left leg, get as tall as you can in your spine. Hold on to that left leg with the right arm and take the left hand onto the block behind you. Push down so you get nice and tall, lower your shoulders. Exhale, and then inhale, lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs. Come into the appropriate rotational force for your spine. Push the right leg into the floor, the left foot into the floor, tall spine, lower the shoulders, slide the shoulder blades towards each other, and try to lift the heart, adding a back bend to the upper spine. Push away from the floor and get length in your spine, and then safe rotation. Take one more breath. Slowly bring yourself out. Push the block to the other side. Let's switch. Left leg is straight, right leg is bent. Hold on to your right leg. Get nice and tall. Lower the shoulders. Take your hand on the block behind you. Hold on onto the right leg with the left arm. Exhale. And then inhale. Lower ribs, middle ribs, and upper ribs. Rotate to the right. Try to bring as much of a back bend to the upper spine as you can, lifting your heart, lowering your shoulders, sliding the shoulder blades towards the center. Long neck. Push down, get tall, rotate, add that back bend, lower the shoulders, take one more breath. And then slowly bringing yourself out. Come all the way out, shake your legs, shake your upper body. Let's take the shoulders, rolling the shoulders, looking up. Let's come into another strengthening of the postural muscles. It's called staff pose, Dandasana in Sanskrit. Take your legs straight. Take your arms down alongside your body. Lift your heart. You could put a block between your legs if you'd like. Take your hands down alongside your body. Press your legs into the ground. Get tall. This is that hip flexion that's important for safe bending. Bring your arms up into scarecrow. Pushing your hands back, that'll help to support the upper spine. Push your legs down into the ground, that'll help you get even more 90 degrees in your hips, strengthening the leg bones. That's going to help to strengthen that upper leg bone. Very important. Long spine. Try to get a back bend in the upper spine. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other like you're holding a pencil between them. And then drag the tips of your shoulder blades down towards your pelvis. That'll help to give you that support in the upper back. Push your hands back, lift your heart. Take one more breath. And then slowly bring yourself out. Bring your feet together in Baddha Konasana near the front of your blanket. That'll help to keep the spine straight. Soles of the feet are together. Rest here, close your eyes, and slow down your breath. Take one more breath. Let's come into another posture for posture strength, for body strength. Bring the blanket onto your mat. We're going to come into plank. You decide which variation you'd like, the full, or you can come down to the forearm. If you feel that you need to do a modification, do the modification. It's your practice. Tap into your body, see where your body is. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Take one foot back and then the other. Bring yourself into plank. Push through your heels, push away from the floor. Point the tailbone down between your heels. Push your feet into the floor. Make sure all 5 toes on both feet are pushing into the floor. And then push your feet into the floor and try to drag your feet up towards your hands. Deeply activating those deep flexor muscles. Bring your awareness to your hands. Push the fingers, all of them, into the floor. Push the palms, push the hands. Push your hands in and try to drag your hands back towards your feet. Long spine, bring your awareness to your spine, lengthen your spine. Head is active, reaching long through the crown of your head. One more breath. And then bring yourself down. Up here in a kneeling position, if your knees don't bend, and if your knees bend, sit on your heels. Close your eyes and catch your breath. Breathing through your nose, slow the breath down and deepen the breath. Let your awareness go up and down your body, making sure that what you've already asked is appropriate. With the eyes closed, find that nice erect spine, lifted heart, open front spine, no collapsing, no pressing down. Eyes are closed, but the gaze is elevated. So you're not looking down. You feel lifted. Slide the shoulder blades towards each other, lift your heart. Take one more breath. And open your eyes. The practice of yoga, we are meant to go back and forth between stira and sukha, between effort and ease. And if you do that in your practice, you're more likely to really show up for the effort part, knowing that you get the gift of coming back into ease. So bringing in the stress and then bringing in that relaxation. Training your nervous system to be able to do that. Training that resiliency in your body to go from one extreme to the other. Let's move to standing and do some power moves in sets of 3s standing. So coming onto a kneeling position, bring a foot forward, flip the back toes under, take your hands on top of your front thigh. Make sure your front foot is pretty forward. It's not close to your body. It's very hard to come up from this kind of an angle in the knee. So give yourself the option to come up safely. Bring your foot forward, bring yourself forward, push away, and then bring yourself all the way up to a standing position. Clearing your space, let's take the blanket off to the side. And then if you need to grab a wall or a chair. A block may be something you're going to want for this part of practice, so keep that handy. Let's do the first 3 moves together that are coming from a pretty similar position. We're going to challenge our alignment, our balance, and our strength with these 3. So coming into mountain, make this a forceful practice, a forceful posture, not just hanging out. Feet are hip distance or even closer if you want to challenge yourself. Big toes touch, heels don't. Push your heels into the floor, push your feet into the floor. Hands are down alongside your body. Reach down with your hands, push your hands back, shoulder blades slide towards each other, heart is lifted. So stack your joints, push your feet into the floor, then see your ankles aligned, your knees, push your thighs back a little, and then tilt your pelvis back into a neutral if it's not already. Many of us hold our pelvis in a non-neutral position, depending on what's going on in the body. Tailbone points straight down to the ground. Reach down with your hands, push down with your feet, and then bring your awareness to your core. Activate your core, lengthen your spine, and try to stretch the front of the spine. Chin parallel towards the ground. Push your head back, push your hands back. Turn on as many muscles as you can in this properly aligned posture. Mountain. Take one more breath. Come into a little bit of an ease. Take some of the pushing down and the lifting out. Bring your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Bring your hands back into your mountain. Push your feet into the floor. Push your body weight to one side. Bend the knee. Knee out to the side. Grab the floor with your foot. Bring your foot onto your shin. Stay here if this is a challenge. And if not, start to let your gaze look up slowly, slowly. If you feel great there, you can start closing one eye at a time. Challenge yourself only to where it's appropriate. It's time to come out when it's ready for you. Bring yourself out, bring yourself down. That was 1 minute, 10 seconds for those of you that are keeping track of your balance in a challenge way. 1 minute, 10 on that side. Take your hands down, push your body weight to the other side, bend the knee, knee out to the side, bring your foot up and come into your challenge. Maybe looking straight ahead is a challenge for you. If not, start to bring your gaze up. And that'll add the next layer of challenge, challenging another part of your balance systems. If you're feeling great, you could close one eye at a time. Find that stability in your body. Hands reaching down, shoulder blades together. Contract your core. Find a spot to focus on. And then you come out when it's time to come out. That was 1 minute 12. So it's up to you. In my balance challenge, I go lift, put my head up. Sometimes I close eyes. Only do what's appropriate for you and your body. Come back and find mountain. And then from here, we're going to move into chair, strengthening the lower body. This is tushy back, hips bent. When you think about tushy back, hips bent. So any variation that you're going to do, you can put a block between your knees if you'd like. Take your shoulders forward, up, back, and down. Push your feet into the ground. Contract your core and come into your chair posture. This is chair posture. Push your heels into the ground. That'll give you a lot of freedom to move your pelvis, to lift your arms, to activate that core. Take one more breath, and then bring yourself up. Come back to mountain. So that's mountain, tree, and chair posture. Great threesome to put together because you're in the same place. Let's do 3 more postures together. I'm going to use the block for this. Choosing balance, flexibility, and strength. 3 different postures for that. So the first will be triangle. Lots of strength and flexibility. Bring the front foot to point away from you, back foot's away. If you're going to use a block, put it near that front leg. Shoulders are forward, up, back, and down. Reach down with your hands. Exhale. Then inhale. Lift your arms. Let your hips go away, bending that front hip joint. And then tip yourself down into the triangle, pushing away from the chair or the block, whatever it is you're using. Take one more breath. Bring the block up with you if you're coming up. Point your toes forward, block in the other hand. Keep your spine straight, bend at that hip to put the block down onto the ground. Bring the front foot away, back heel away. Forward, up, back, and down with your shoulders. Exhale, and then inhale to reach long, bend that front hip. When you can't go any farther, bring your hand onto the chair or the block or whatever it is you're doing. Come into your triangle on this side. Bending that hip, lengthening the spine. Take one more breath. Bring yourself back up. Bring yourself out. Come into Tadasana Mountain. We're going to move now on to twisted triangle. The front leg is the one you twist over. I am going to do mine near the wall and twist towards the wall. You could have a chair in front of you. It's the front leg that you twist over. So where my block is could be your chair. I'm going to use the wall, or you could use your hands on the chair. Pretty strong posture, lots of strength, flexibility, and balance, all of them in this one. Front foot is forward, back foot is about 2 feet, 2.5 feet. You enter this by deeply flexing the hips. So you come into the hips, keep your spine open in the front. If you're able to put your hands on the block or in a chair, do that. The other hand can be on the wall or on your waist. Push away from the back foot, especially the pinky toe edge, to add, or the big toe edge, to add that rotational force. Make sure that your chair blocks away from you and your weight is in your feet. Create rotational force in your body, long spine, push your heart forward. Active head, active spine. Take one more breath. To dismount, you bend the front leg, keep your head lifted, keep your spine long. Come out, let's go to the other side. Move your chair, move your block. It's the front foot that you rotate towards. So bring the foot forward, foot back, 2.5 feet distance. Pressing your feet into the ground. The forward movement is at the hip joint. Reaching long with your spine, bringing yourself down onto your block and using the wall. Push your feet into the floor, especially that back foot, the big toe edge. Bring that rotation into your body. Pulling on the outer hip joint, on the top of the femur bone, where the DEXA scan reading is, that greater trochanter. Push your feet into the floor, lengthen your spine, push your heart forward. Long spine, lifted heart, long front spine. Take one more breath. And then bend that front leg. Bring yourself up. Bring yourself back to a mountain. The last posture of this series is going to be half moon, balancing on your hip joint at the side. Lots of balance. Do it near a wall for a little bit more strengthening and a little bit more safety if you need. Have a chair or a block handy. Bring your foot onto the ground. Hand onto the block, bending at the hip. Bring your leg up active and come into your Ardha Chandrasana, half moon posture. Very active lifted leg. You could be near the wall and use your hand on the wall and leave your leg off the wall so that you get a little bit more challenge with balance. Long spine, very active lifted leg. Don't let that top leg fall. Keep pushing it up against gravity. One more breath. And then bend your standing leg to dismount gracefully. One more side. Block on the ground. Put the foot facing the block or the chair, whatever it is you're going to do. Take your hand on the block and then actively load into that standing leg. Lift the leg up, putting the leg into the wall if you like. The body could be at the wall as well. So it really depends on what's going on with you today, what you need. Make sure that that leg that's lifting is lifting with a lot of action. Strengthening the side of that hip joint. Strengthening the side of the leg you're standing on. Long spine.
Take one more breath. To come out, you bend the standing leg. You slowly bring your leg down. Bring yourself up and bring yourself back to alignment, Mountain Tadasana. Let's take all that tension out of your body. Shake, 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 shake your body, move your body, shake, let go of all the tension, let fluidity come back in. And let's come down into the ground for final rest to allow everything to come into the muscles, the joints, the body, the mind, the soul, the cells. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness to your body, noticing what you notice. Was today's practice what you needed? Did you push too much, pull too much, or was it just right? Go into your body, noticing. Let your body be the guide. Let the body lead. Bring your awareness to your fingers, your toes. Bending your knees. Throw your knees into your chest. Knees to chest or happy baby if it's accessible to you. Holding onto the toes or behind the thighs. Bringing yourself onto your side. Pushing your hand into the floor, your elbow into the floor. Bring yourself up to a seated position.
Keep your eyes closed. Let's stimulate the relaxation, healing, repairing, bone building system, parasympathetic, the nerve that's responsible, the main nerve, the vagus nerve, is right near your vocal cord. So let's do a nice, beautiful humming sound to stimulate the vagus nerve, to allow that repairing, the building of bone tissue, muscles, and all that we demanded and asked from our bodies today. Hands are at the heart, press the heart to the hands. Take a big exhale. Inhale. In gratitude for the opportunity to strengthen our body, our mind, our soul. Today's practice had 16 postures. There were 5 sets of 3 postures strung together because of the location of our body and because we had access to props that could allow those to happen. The intention is to stimulate bone growth by pulling and pushing on the bones, by strengthening alignment and posture and balance and all of the aspects of bone health for fall prevention, for injury prevention, for fracture prevention. All of that is important when it comes to bone health. It's also important to have a strong body to live in, to feel confident in your body, so you'll actually do more in your life on a daily basis. Because things in motion stay in motion. And the more we demand on a daily basis from our body and our bones, the more the body will show up for you. And that is how it works. So no matter what age you are, no matter what stage you are, injuries, wherever you are in your life, you ask for more in the way that you need to, and your body will respond. And if you do have an injury or something, go slowly. So set your attention to your intention. And if your intention is to have a stronger body and balance, then let your attention when you practice be fully immersed in what you're doing so that you stay as safe as possible while you're asking for this from your body. And I cannot say that strongly enough because I've had an injury and I've taught for years and I've watched and observed people, and I know that you can injure yourself if you're not careful. So I could guide and give you all of the guidance that I can, and you need to become your own teacher, your own yoga therapist, your own physical therapist, chiropractor, whatever. You have to be what says to yourself, this is where I need to be. This is appropriate for me. I'll share as much guidance as possible, and then you bring in that safety aspect of the practice. All right, that's really important to me because I'm not there with you. I can't see you. I don't know what you're doing, but I need you to be safe. If I'm going to guide you strongly like today, I need you to be safe when you're doing it. Mona, hi, glad you're here. Kathy, great. Carolyn, you're welcome. Great. Yeah, today's practice being so strong will definitely ground your mental energy. You cannot be wondering what you're going to be getting at Target after class when you're doing that strong stuff. Okay, I need more subscribers to my YouTube channel so I could start teaching classes outdoors from my phone. So if you're not subscribed already, there's a little subscribe button down there. Please hit that button.
and subscribe to my channel, because then I could bring more and do more. And I want to be outside because we don't live in our houses all day long. We're outside. So I want to practice more and do more teaching from outdoors. So subscribe if you're not subscribed already. And then if you have any friends that you think may benefit, share this with them as well. And thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate all of you for being there. I think we're all on the same path together to age as strong and healthy as possible. And I'm so happy to be doing this with you. Thank you.